Well, hello, BFOD squad. Nice to be back together with you. Welcome back to the Barrel Full of Daryl podcast, episode 38. Somehow I keep coming up with this shit nearly every single day. And this is where I talk about music, movies, and some other cool shit. Oh, by the way, I want to give a shout out to my listeners in Singapore. Um, you guys are rocking with it. You're the country with the second most number of downloads. My podcast, right behind United States. So thank you for that. Keep listening. Send me a note. Love to hear from you. So last week I asked, or I presented this lyric. I got a grand piano to prop up my mortal remains, and I asked, "Do you know who? Do you know the song?" And I didn't give you an answer at that time, but the song is Nobody Home by Pink Floyd from their album The Wall. Wow. Here's another one for you. Here's another lyric. We were the first band to vomit in the bar. Name that song. Name who performed it. Again, it's We were the first band to vomit in the bar. Okay, then. Let's get on with it. Music. So there was this guy born in 1950 named Steveland Hardaway Judkins, and he eventually became known professionally as Stevie Wonder. Do you know who that is? Well, I'll tell you. He was a blind black man, singer, songwriter, musician, and record producer. Widely regarded as one of the most influential artists of the 20th century. His genres included R&B, pop, soul, gospel, funk, and jazz. And he is basically a one-man band. He plays the majority, if not all, of the instruments on his songs. Oh, he plays the drums too. Plays piano, harmonica, and drums. Now, as a child prodigy, he was signed to Motown Records at the age of 11. Did you hear that? At the age of 11. And that's when he was given the professional name Little Stevie Wonder. 11 years old, he was probably little. In 1963, at the age of 13, he released the single Fingertips that hit number one on the Billboard charts. Youngest solo artist to ever top the charts. In 1962, he joined the Motortown Revue and toured the Chitlin circuit, which was theaters across America that accepted black artists. At the Regal Theater in Chicago, his 20-minute performance was recorded live, and the subsequent album, titled Recorded Live, The 12-Year-Old Genius, contained that hit song, Fingerprints. He also began working in the Motown songwriting department, composing songs for himself as well as his label mates. Now, one of these, the song Tears of a Clown, was a number one hit for Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. Now, from 1968 to 1970, he released several hits. including Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours, and My Cherie Amour. My God, that just to hear the titles of those songs, it really takes me back to my AM radio days when I first heard them. Yeah, I'm old, if you don't know by now. So 1972 saw the release of his album Talking Book, and he had another number one single with the songs, actually, number one singles for the songs Superstition and You Are the Sunshine of My Life. Now, these two songs garnered him 3 more Grammys. At this time, he started touring with the Rolling Stones to alleviate him from being pigeonholed as an R&B artist. 1973, he was a guest on Sesame Street, where he played the song Superstition, as well as an original called Sesame Street Song. So in 1973, he released the album Inner Visions. 1974, he released the album Fulfillingness's First Finale. 1976, he released the album Songs in the Key of Life. Now, all 3 of these albums won the Grammy for Album of the Year, making him the first artist to win Grammys with 3 consecutive album releases. Now, these albums were released during his what they call his classical period, and Rolling Stone magazine said that they pioneered stylistic approaches that helped determine the shape of pop music for the next decade. So in 1975, Paul Simon released the album Still Crazy After All These Years, which won the Grammy that year for Album of the Year. And upon accepting the award, Paul Simon thanked Stevie for not making an album that year. Yeah, he wedged himself in between 2 of Stevie Wonder's Grammys. Now, in 1974, he had a jam session with John Lennon and Paul McCartney, and a bootleg album was released titled A Toot and a Snore in 74. Now, later on, he sang at the funerals for Michael Jackson, 2009, Etta James, 2012, and Whitney Houston, 2012, as well as Aretha Franklin, 2018. Now, in the early 1980s, he appeared several times as a guest on Saturday Night Live. And Eddie Murphy, you guys know Eddie Murphy. I don't know if you know of him on Saturday Night Live, but he did an imitation of Stevie Wonder, and it was spot on. And they were in several skits together, and they sang together at the piano. It was really amazing. In fact, you should Google this and be amazed at how well Eddie Murphy does at imitating Stevie Wonder. So over his amazing career, he won 25 Grammys and an Oscar for the song I Just Called to Say I Love You, which he wrote and sang for the movie The Woman in Red. He's in the top 60 of best-selling musicians, and he's still active today. Now, Stevie's music was a part of my life for decades, and I fully appreciate his genius and the catalog of work that he's put out. So please be sure to check his songs on the playlist. I'm pretty sure you'll really enjoy them. And now, just roll tape. Oh, by the way, my buddy Dustin, I was talking to him on the phone the other day, and he says, you should call this segment Scotch Tape. And that's not for the 3M Corporation. It's for our love of whiskey and scotch. I really like that comment, but I think I'll probably stick with just roll tape. So here we go. Enjoy. We talked about Weezer earlier before we.
Yeah. Were we recording that or no?
No, I don't think so. I think that's before we picked up the microphones.
What'd you find out about those guys?
They've released about 3 times more albums than I thought they did.
Oh yeah, yeah. They have quite a body of work.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with all of it. I've listened to all of it, but unfortunately, like I know they've got sort of a cult following, but only a handful of things that they do really resonate with me.
Well, they were a college band to begin with, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think so, and gained popularity over college radio with the song Buddy Holly. I think that's it.
Yeah. Did you happen to look into, or could you look into somehow the production on that? Because we had talked about it earlier. When they seemingly hit the scene, they came out with this video, Buddy Holly. And what was remarkable about that video is that they have this kind of Forrest Gump-esque quality to the video, where they're compositing their footage of the band in with old footage of the Happy Days show, the show Happy Days.
Yeah.
And so within the video, you see all the familiar faces, the Fonz, all of them, Big Al. And I can only imagine how much they paid to have the rights for that, or even just the amount of money that it would take to produce a video like that for an upstart band or somebody that's relatively fresh to the scene. I'm pretty sure that was their breakthrough song.
Yeah.
So whatever or whoever was behind that band, the production of it, has to have had a ton of faith in their sound or in their ability to be a hit band.
Yeah. And so you're right. They basically spliced in footage from the Happy Days show,
mm-hmm.
showing Richie Cunningham, Mr. and Mrs. Cunningham, the Fonz, Al, was that the Al, the diner owner,
right? Big Al's Diner,
and then some of the other guys. I didn't remember their names. I don't. But I guess that they would have had to have paid royalties to put that in there. Yeah. And like you said, with almost an unknown band, mm-hmm. with their first hit, to, spend that kind of money on it, that's a risk.
Unless it worked in their favor. I recently read that in the movie Pineapple Express, there was some production footage that they used in a promotional thing. I think it was maybe their Red Band trailer, in fact. Their Red Band trailer used the song Paper Planes by an artist called MIA.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's pronounced Mia, MIA.
MIA, yeah. With initials.
Get high like paper planes. I don't even know the lyrics to the song, but you'd know it to hear it. She gave approval for them to use that song, even though it doesn't appear on their soundtrack or anything. They asked her, almost like a personal favor, to use that song on the trailer. And so it appears in their Red Band trailer, which was probably one of the first uses of the term Red Band trailer that I'd ever heard.
I'm not familiar with Red Band trailer.
I don't know if it's as big a thing as it was. It was probably around the advent of YouTube. Well, shit. Pineapple Express is what, 2009? Something around there?
Yeah.
YouTube had been out for some time by then. But the term Red Band trailer just refers to like an unrated kind of trailer. So you could go on YouTube and you could see a trailer for a movie that you couldn't see anywhere on TV because it was unrated. You might see a boob or hear some swear. I guess probably more swears than any sort of nudity or anything like that. But you could see blood in a red band trailer.
So if I remember reading right, once that red band trailer was put up, within days it was taken back down.
Interesting.
I think I read that earlier today. Spike Jonze directed the music video Buddy Holly.
No shit.
No shit.
Wow. What year? Post Forrest Gump, I bet you.
1994?
94. That was the year Forrest Gump came out, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I wonder if it was inspired or if it was just purely they have to be tied in some way.
Yeah.
Even I mean the time frame is right. Even if Spike Jonze, I could imagine him having a conversation with who was it, Ron Howard that did Forrest Gump? No, Zemeckis, Robert Zemeckis. They probably were discussing the technology. I bet you it was a hot topic at the time in those circles. And he probably was like, I could make something like this for my band Weezer.
Yeah. That was Al Molinaro's final acting role before his death.
Wow. So he did. Yeah, that's right. Because he does seem to address the band directly.
Yeah, I mean he's live there with the band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I've been looking, but I haven't found anything about the production of it. But
that would be a good one for AI. I think we're talking offline about how the AI technology is so intuitive. But if you type that in, I'm gonna go Weezer, Buddy Holly video. Let's see.
I'm seeing the producer, Buddy Holly, it's Rick Ocasek. That can't be right. From the Cars? Maybe he produced it in studio and not the video.
Oh, maybe that, yeah.
That's interesting.
Okay, so what I was going to say about AI is that it's good at delineating things and unconfusing you.
Yeah.
Sometimes because you can just put in half a thought and it'll try and extrapolate what you're getting at. Here I just wrote in Weezer Buddy video. I didn't even write Buddy Holly apparently. Weezer Buddy video Forrest Gump, and it instantly returned what I was looking for. The 1994 Weezer music video for Buddy Holly has no connection to the movie Forrest Gump, despite both using clever video editing to insert actors into old footage. Coincidentally, in '94. So, but Forrest Gump was probably doing it all of its production in '93.
Yeah.
But still, being in that time frame, good theory.
Okay, then. I hope you enjoyed that segment. Please let me know if you guys are enjoying this new segment. I've not gotten any negative comments, so I'm going to keep going with it. So now it's time for a word from our sponsor. But before that, let me give a shout out to my grandson, Logan. Logan is 15 years old, and he came up with the idea of doing a librarian at Scratch Ankle, Alabama. So that's where the idea came from, and thank you, Logan. Very smart 15-year-old. I'll just add here that he had the original idea, but I'm the one that spiced it up a little bit and gave the guy a lisp. So you can blame me for that. But thanks again, Logan. Love you. Hello again. This is
Willie Ray Parlay, this fat ankle librarian. Now, you may recall I got some books on my front porch, also known as the library, that I'd be happy to loan to you if you ever come to see us. Now, last week I loaned out the book Moby's Dick to my sister. You may know her, Chrissy May, but she returned it real quick. It's saying, this ain't no damn erotica. And as she left, she mumbled something about a whale. I don't know. I reckon maybe I should read it, but I'm sure it's got some big words in it, other than cat or dog. I also wanted to let you know that I've added some music to the library. Yeah, I've got some cassette tapes as well as those thin, shiny things called CDs. I ain't got nothing to play these on, but if you do, just come on by. I got some albums by Elton Johnny, Fleetwood's Big Mac, The Queen, the ZZ Tops, and a whole bunch more. So come on by and take a look or take a listen. And I'm looking forward to seeing you. Bye.
Okay, we're back. Movie time. Frankenstein. A few days ago, I watched Frankenstein on Netflix, which was written and directed by Guillermo del Toro. And it's based on the 1818 novel by, of course, Mary Shelley, titled Frankenstein or the Modern Prometheus. Well, Guillermo spent about 25 years on the project of making this movie. And he states that the book Frankenstein is his favorite. So he worked a long time on getting this project to being released this year. And it stars Oscar Isaac as Baron von Frankenstein, Jacob Elordi as the monster, Mia Goth as Elizabeth, and Christoph Waltz as Henrik Harlander, who happens to be Elizabeth's uncle, and he's also a wealthy arms dealer. Now, this is a 2.5 hour long movie, and it's broken down into 3 parts. Prelude, Part 1, which is Victor's tale, and Part 2, the creature's tale. Now, let me say this here. The term Frankenstein has become a misnomer. When you hear Frankenstein, you get an image in your head of a monster. But in fact, Frankenstein is not the monster. Frankenstein is the mad scientist. The monster is simply the monster or the creature. So, simply put, the plot, as you would expect, Victor creates a monster, the monster escapes, goes in the countryside, town folk are afraid of him, hunt him down, blah, blah, blah. Let me add some meat to those bones. In the first part of Part 1, and for the first hour of the movie, Victor is working laboriously to piece together parts of corpses to build the creature, as well as a nerve system for the creature. Now, after a quite grotesque display at the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh, Victor is expelled from the college. That's one messed up scene, let me tell you. Pretty cool, though. Now, after he's been expelled from the college, This is when he meets the arms dealer, Henrik, whose niece, Elizabeth, is betrothed to Victor's brother, William. Now, Henrik is rich, and he offers to supply everything Victor needs to build his creation, and Victor accepts. So they purchase a huge Gothic edifice to be used as Victor's lab. And it's out in the middle of nowhere. And they start building all the lab equipment. They get to work on it. Now, the lab includes a very large and long antenna to be used to attract voltage from lightning to spark life into the creature. Now, it turns out Henrik is dying of syphilis, and he wants Victor to make him the creature so that he could have eternal life. But Victor refuses, saying the creature must not be tainted with diseased tissue. So they end up having a little fight, and Henrik falls to his death. Several stories from the top of the tower all the way down to the bottom. Victor, he pretty much says, oh well, he forges ahead, and during a thunderstorm brings the creature to life. But Victor keeps him chained up and basically ignores him, and he's very frustrated that the creature can only say one word, which is Victor. Now, at this point, Victor's brother William and his wife Elizabeth show up. Yeah, they've been married. And Elizabeth sneaks down to where the creature is, and she is empathetic, and they have kind of a little touching scene there. And she teaches him to say Elizabeth. Okay, long, short, Victor burns down the edifice with the creature chained inside, but the creature escapes. He finds a cabin in the woods and hides out in like a machinery room adjacent to the living room of the cabin. And it's here that he listens to an old blind man teaching words and reading to his granddaughter, and the creature picks up on this. So the creature basically becomes intelligent, and he begins to hunt down Victor. Now, I'm going to leave it at that. And I'd like for you to watch this. It's a very good movie. And I don't want to throw out any more spoilers. But here's a few things. Now, you may be familiar with images of the monster as being like this green with a weird can-shaped forehead and bolts in his neck. As you can see on the TV show The Munsters, as well as portrayed by Boris Karloff in the 1931 movie adaptation, and as well as the movie Young Frankenstein by Mel Brooks. Basically, the creature is represented as a big, ugly, bumbling, ignorant galoot. Well, the monster in this movie is quite different. Now, he is huge. He's strong and he's covered in scars, but he's got no weird forehead or bolts in his neck. And he has intelligence. Another thing, the use of a lightning bolt to bring the creature to life is ubiquitous in the movies. But it's not in the book. Instead, the book uses the science of galvanism, which is the generation of electric current by chemical action. In fact, the book is scant on details of the creation of the creature. But at this time, 1800s, it was believed that galvanism could reanimate dead tissue. A little bit about the book. It's written in 1818. by Mary Shelley. She was 18 years old when she wrote this. 18 years old. It's been called the first work of science fiction and has made a vast impact on culture, as there have been numerous plays and movies based on it. Now, regarding the book's subtitle, Prometheus, he's from Greek mythology, and he defied the Olympic gods by bringing fire to humans in the form of technology and knowledge. Now, Prometheus is also credited with the creation of humans from clay. So that all passes the sniff test. And there you have it. This movie it's really a treat to watch. I mean, it's epic. The budget was $120 million, and it looks to me like they used every damn penny of it. So, I mean, the scenery, the costumes, the story arc, the acting, holy shit. Just a good movie. Good movie to watch. Please do. Okay. Word of the week. Vermilion. Vermilion. It is a brilliant red pigment, and it comes from the Latin vermiculus, meaning little worm. Yeah, I don't get the connection either. Joke of the week. Yay. Someone stole my limbo bar out of my garage. Jeez, how low can you go? Question of the week. Now, last week I asked, why do your lips not grow hair? Well, much like the palms of your hands and the bottoms of your feet, the red part of the lips, known as the vermilion zone, see what I did there? They do not contain hair follicles. It also does not contain the typical accessory substructures like sebaceous glands that produce oil, as well as sweat glands. Also, the skin in the vermilion zone is significantly thinner than the remaining facial skin. It's only got about 4 cellular layers rather than the 16 of the rest of the face. This and the capillaries beneath the skin is what makes your lips red. Vermilion. New question of the week. Do fake plants die if you don't pretend to water them? Thought of the week. It takes considerable knowledge to realize the extent of your own ignorance. Now, there's this thing called the Dunning-Kruger effect. People with low ability in a specific area overestimate their competence. Conversely, people with high ability underestimate their competence. You know, you got to know what you don't know. And there's a lot I don't know. So don't forget about the BFOD, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube playlist. Keep dropping songs on there. Hope you're enjoying them. As a reminder, you may contact me by clicking on the send me a text button, and the episodes are directly at bfodpodcast@gmail.com. Also, don't forget, you can give me a little bit of money each week if you care to. Just support the show if you like it and if you feel like it. I appreciate it. So that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you were entertained. Talk to you next time. Bye.